Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40k universe. I am your host Gershwan and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we go into the Imperium of Man as we talk about 40 facts about the Imperial Navy. The Imperial Navy is one of the armed forces of the Imperium of Man. While the Imperial Guard represents the Imperium's ground forces, the Imperial Navy is responsible for the fleets of starships that maintain order between the stars and planets in the Imperium. The origins of the Imperial Navy lay in the campaigns of the Great Crusade that began in the 800th year of the 30th millennium. The Great Crusade was the largest and most ambitious military endeavor ever undertaken by mankind. This epic undertaking would have been entirely impossible without the countless thousands of warp-capable vessels that transported hundreds of thousands of superhuman warriors of the Space Marine legions and many millions of Imperial Army soldiers from one starlight to the next. The first vessels to enter the service of the Imperium were constructed in the orbital foundries of Terra, and later Mars' Ring of Iron and orbital shipyards of Saturn, under the scrutiny of the Emperor and the forge rights of the Mechanicum. This was further aided when at last the Saturnian Dominion with its accomplished shipmasters joined the Imperium after their alien overlords were overthrown. And as the Imperium expanded, many more great shipyards were added. Voss, Grogador, Loren, Cyprus Mundi all grew to near rival Mars itself in void ship production. Preceding each great expeditionary fleet of hundreds, sometimes thousands of vessels, often ranged smaller contingents of independent flotillas, led by the class of military leaders that would become known as the Rogue Trader Militant. Many of these individuals were former rulers of the numerous realms that the Emperor had cast down during the Unification Wars, and later, as the Great Crusade spread, former independent human worlds. The Rogue Trader Militant were expected to scout ahead of the leading edge of the Great Crusade, accompanied by their own armies as well as whatever assets had been given to them by the Emperor. Operating so far ahead of the Emperor's crusading armies, the Rogue Trader Militants would expect little or no aid should they encounter foes too powerful for them to overcome. After several Terran decades penetrating the inky black of the void, Rogue Trader Militant fleets often appeared as ramshackle. Many of these starships taken from defeated enemies, sometimes including Xeno's vessels of entirely novel form. They were forbidden to return to Terra, for in his wisdom, the Emperor sought not just rid himself of powerful rivals, but to ensure that even in their death they might serve mankind. Many vanished, alone and unheard, slain, consumed, or enslaved by nameless Xeno ambitions, far from the light of Terra. As the Imperium expanded, so too did its fleets. Countless long-lost wonders of technology were recovered. Some wrestled from the dead hands of unwilling custodians, and others surrendered willingly as fitting tributes to the master of mankind. Some vessels were unique, constructed by methods even that the most accomplished adeptus of Mars could not hope to replicate. The Terminus Est, the Nicor, the Mirabilis, the Phalanx, foremost among them. Let's jump into the present of the 41st millennium and talk about the Imperial Navy now. On many Imperial planets, the Imperial Navy is often referred to as the Holy Fleet. The High Lords preach that the fleet is an extension of the God Emperor's divine will and is therefore itself a sacred institution. This is due to the innate relationship between the navigators who are able to guide the fleet through the warp using the psychic beacon emitting from the Golden Throne and the Astronomicon. The Imperium is divided into 5 fleet zones known as Segmenti Majoris. Every starship of the Imperial Navy is assigned to one of these segmenti and fall under the command of the respected Lord High Admiral, who commands all the Imperial Navy assets of that segmentum. The naval assets of an entire segmentum are named after the division of the Imperium, i.e. all of the Imperial fleet assets in the Segmentum Solar are known as Battlefleet Solar. All the assets in the Ultima Segmentum are Battlefleet Ultima, and so on. There are 5 Lord High Admirals, one controlling the assembled battle fleet of each segmenti. Although all 5 High Admirals are ranked equally, command of the Segmentum Solar is considered the oldest and therefore the most prestigious and senior position. It is not uncommon for one of these Lord High Admirals to sit on the Centaurum Imperialis as a ruling High Lord of Terra. All Imperial shipping, civilian and military, is supervised within the jurisdiction of one of these 5 segmenti. Each segmentum has an orbital headquarter called a Segmentum Fortress, which forms the base of fleet operations within the segmentum. The Segmentum Fortress is controlled directly by the high-ranking officials of the Adeptus Administratum, known as the Masters of the Segmentum, who report only to the Masters of the Administratum. The following is a list of the segmentums, its Segmentum Fortress, and the galactic direction, starting with the Segmentum Solar, that orders from Mars and is located in the center of the Imperial space. The Segmentum Oscurus has its fortress in Cyprus, Mundi, and is to the north. The Segmentum Tempestus has its fortress in Baca and is in the south. The Segmentum Ultima has its fortress in Car Dunaish and is to the east. The Segmentum Pacificus has its fortress in Hydrafurs and is to the west. Each segmentum is divided into sectors, regions of space that are generally cube-shaped and contain 8 million cubic light-years of space. These sectors contain multiple subsectors, collections of star systems, no more than 20 light-years in radius. The Imperial Navy starships of each segmentum are divided amongst the sectors into further groups called battle fleets. These battle fleets are assigned the task of safeguarding the sector they are assigned to, and each battle fleet is generally named after the sector it protects. Battlefleet Gothic is located in the Gothic sector and commanded by an officer with the rank of Lord Admiral. Sectors are further divided into subsectors, usually comprising between 2 and 8 star systems within a 10-year radius, while others, smaller in size, are governed by the practical patrol ranges of Imperial warships. Because subsectors are actually astrographic divisions of worlds rather than volume of space, there are a vast number of star systems within each sector which do not fall within a subsector. These are formally referred to as intersectors, and are more commonly known as wilderness zones, forbidden zones, empty space, wild space, and frontier space. Each sector battle fleet is assigned a number of cruisers and battleships, usually between 50 and 75 vessels. Each sector battle fleet is also assigned a multiple squadron of escort starships, and is also in command of a large number of transports, messenger crafts, orbital defenses, space platforms, and system patrol vessels. The ships of a battle fleet must constantly patrol their sector and fulfill a variety of roles, protecting Imperial merchant ships from pirates, transporting Imperial Guard regiments from war zones, escorting Adeptus Mechanicus exploratory fleets on their voyage to the Imperial frontiers, and provide orbital support for invading or defending armies. Because of the vast volume of space that requires policing, a sector battle fleet is normally split into detachments called battle groups, consisting one of 2 cruisers, accompanied by a squadron of escorts. If a particular situation is more than one battle group can handle, additional detachments of battle groups or squadrons are called in to reinforce. On occasion, an entire battle fleet can be formed to operate in a smaller area than an entire sector. Battlefleet Armageddon is assigned solely to the Armageddon subsector, and prior to the Third War of Armageddon, was made up of 4 battleships, 27 cruisers, 36 squadrons of escorts. Battlefleet Solar is assigned specifically to the solar system, and is primarily charged with defending the 2 sacred worlds of Terra and Mars, and lies at the very heart of the Imperium. Even with a single segmentum, battle fleets can vary vastly from a sector to sector, having been shaped over the course of millennia, responding to their own particular need and circumstances. An example of this is Battlefleet Gothic, which forms a component part of the Segmentum Oscurus battle fleets, as do its neighbors Battlefleet Tama, Obdessa, and as well as more distant battle fleets as Cadia, Scarus, and Koros. Even though these battle fleets all hail from the same Segmentum and rely on so many of the same forge worlds and naval bases, there is still great variation within them in terms of composition and number of warships. And those were 40 facts about the Imperial Navy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A lot of facts, so be sure to subscribe to the channel to get part 2 where we talk about each individual ship within a battle fleet. Again, if you are a subscriber already, thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you could, please jump on over to Patreon. Link is in the description. Support us so we can keep putting out more Warhammer 40k content every single day. Thank you so much. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, and I'm signing out. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. Welcome to the battle pit. Today is not really a pit. We're going up into space and fighting fleet against fleet. Who do you think would win in a fight? A Warhammer 40k fleet or an Imperial Navy fleet? Up against a fleet from the Star Wars universe, specifically during the era of the Clone Wars. If you've seen the Clone Wars cartoon, it's led usually by Anakin or Obi-Wan, but their fleet against an Imperial Navy fleet led by probably a Space Marine captain, maybe, we'll say that. Who do you think would win in a fight? Comment down below. Can't wait to read your stuff. And at the end of the video, we're going to have a roundup video, at the end of the week, we're going to have a roundup video explaining all of the winners of the different battle pits. So be sure to comment. Can't wait to read. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.